Carmelo Anthony got a new legal team. A dream team, perhaps? Carmelo Anthony, given 35 years for the murder of Austin Metcalf at a track meet about a year ago in April. And that was it. It was a quick, easy peasy trial, a quick, easy peasy sentencing. The whole trial took about a week, and it was so overwhelmingly evident that he had murdered Austin Metcalf. This was not self-defense. It didn't even come close. There weren't even people on that jury that had to consider self-defense. They didn't have to go, well, this looks like self-defense, but if you add in the aggression part or this, then maybe not. It wasn't self-defense. He stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest, murdering him for what may have amounted to a push to the shoulder after telling him to leave the tent 15 times. So you're all caught up. So the family, though, oh boy, the family needs some more money and they need justice. So they've hired a dream team of lawyers. Black lawyers. They got one token white guy in there. OJ had a couple of token whites in there too. Robert Kardashian was your token white guy, and then they had F. Lee Bailey for a little time, and then they had that other guy, Shapiro. But, you know, Johnny Cochran, he was your fucking ringleader of the OJ Dream Team. And I think that's what they're trying to do here. Let's see Sarah Fields. She's awesome. She's been keeping tabs on this whole debacle. A lot of good information. So she says a team including Texas NAACP President Gary Bledsoe, appellate attorney Russell Wilson II, and civil rights attorney Brooke Claus has announced that it's taking over Carmelo Anthony's case and will pursue all available avenues of appeal. Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
Hello, I'm Gavin McInnes.
And together we're Compound Censored.
And we would like you to subscribe with this deal using this promo code right below me right now.
Do it, because it's very entertaining. This is totally based on race. Totally. There they are. Bledsoe, president of the Texas NAACP, civil rights litigation. However, in February 2026, a federal judge ordered Bledsoe to show cause regarding what the court described as a hallucinated case citation and alleged mischaracterizations contained in a legal filing. The judge raised concerns about possible misuse of AI in the filing and considered sanctions. Public reports later indicate that Bledsoe apologized and avoided further sanctions. So this guy's another one of these fucking Benjamin Crump pieces of shit. Brooke Claus joined Ben Crump Law in 2023. I'm sure Ben Crump is some way involved. And then, here's what they're going to do. They're going to work the race thing. This isn't a new trial. And it is amazing how many retards on social media think this is just gets a new trial, right? You get new black lawyers and the NAACP and civil rights attorney, and then we have a brand new trial, and this time he's acquitted and he goes home, right? Isn't that? No. All these attorneys can argue was there any inappropriate things. Did anything inappropriate take place during the trial that might have led to a guilty verdict? That's it. That's it. Was there something the judge did that was unconstitutional? Was the jury tampered with in any way, or were they not given proper instructions as to deliberating? What all these things, witness testimony, was it admissible? So they just look at the case. They look at that trial, not so much the case and what they could do with it if they were trying the case. They have to look at the case that had already taken place that resulted in a guilty verdict and a sentence of 35 years, and they have to find something wrong with that case. And then the judge can decide to grant an appeal or not grant an appeal. There are some avenues. If an appeal is granted, then the prosecution can decide to retry the case or just drop it. Yeah, okay, fuck it. They wouldn't do that. That's for sure. They would retry the case. But this isn't even, this case took a week. The testimony was overwhelmingly consistent, especially on the part of the prosecution. There was no time during this trial where the defense argued that Karmelo Anthony wasn't getting every right legally available to him to utilize and put on a case in his defense. So I don't really see it. It has to be pretty glaring for a judge to overturn a conviction based on an appeal. Judges don't like stepping on other judges' toes for the fuck of it. There has to be a glaring problem that took place in a case. Appeals are filed for every single person in prison. They all filed an appeal, and the vast majority of them are still in prison. So good luck to the new dream team, Karmelo's new dream team. But so many idiots, they're like, yep, this is going to be it. They're going to go in there and say how 4 white boys jumped Karmelo Anthony under that tent, and how Austin Metcalf was beating him. He was being beaten by 4 white boys, and like, no, that isn't what happens here. First of all, that didn't happen, and the testimony proved that. No one on the defense or the prosecution or anyone said that he got jumped and was being beaten. So that isn't coming up in any sense. The other thing is, like I said, it's can we get an appeal? So here's the one thing they're going to work on: the jury. They're going to say that because there wasn't a black person on the jury, that the jury was somehow biased against Karmelo Anthony. I think there were only 3 prospective black jurors for this case. All 3 of them were educators. The prosecution did not want teachers, counselors, anyone that's part of the education system to be on the jury. They thought they might have some bias for these kids. They deal with kids all day. They see how certain kids behave and how certain kids misbehave. And the prosecution just didn't want that aspect brought into the jury. So that's why the black people weren't included. Or at least that's a great reason to say that they weren't included, and it had nothing to do with race. So his dream team is going to have to argue to a judge that the prosecution left out at least one of those 3 black jury candidates based on nothing but racial bias. And how do you do that? They said, here's the reason. They're educators. This was on school property, 2 students in high school. I don't want people that deal with high school kids on this jury. It could prejudice the case. So they're going to have a tough time trying to convince a judge that the prosecution just did this solely on race. They're going to say it. They're going to play that race card. You think you saw the race card during the trial? Wait for these clowns to get up there. They're going to pull out Emmett Till and all this fucking bullshit to try to get their boy off the hook. I don't see it happening. Not in 2026. Maybe a few years ago, but this is the age of citizen vigilante. It's 2026, my friend. This ain't 2020. You got another thing coming. This motherfucker was tried, convicted, and sentenced, and that's where this motherfucker needs to stay. So good luck. Yabba dabba do. Oh boy. Mayor Johnson over there in Chicago. I know I talk a lot about Chicago, but it really is just the shimmering light of shit with this Mayor Johnson in office over there. He gave a speech because some of the reporters in Chicago had the nerve, the unmitigated gall to ask Brandon Johnson about all the violence that took place over the Juneteenth Father's Day weekend. Close to 50 people shot, 8 people killed, maybe more. I heard someone say a dozen, but and what did Brandon Johnson do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So when the reporters ask him questions about this, he answers in just amazing, concise, well thought out sentences. Here's Mayor Johnson. He's blaming slavery for Chicago's problems. Yes, that slavery. Let's listen to the mayor.
I want to turn to another important part of this work. 2 years ago, I signed an executive order establishing a task force to shine a light on the harm that slavery and racist policies have caused and continue to cause, and particularly the harm that they caused to Black Chicagoans, while more importantly, identifying pathways towards repair, opportunity, and investment.
Slavery? Was there even a slave in Chicago? Wasn't Chicago like... I don't think there was slaves. But he's blaming slavery. He signed an executive order to put together a commission to shine some light on slavery. What a waste of time, money. I can't say talent. That's one thing that isn't being wasted when that guy does anything in that shit city of shit Congo. What a fucking... Imagine 2026 and you're being asked about issues. And they asked, why haven't you accepted Donald Trump's invitation to help you? To help Chicago maybe bring down the murders, the death toll of your young Black people that you profess to care so much about. And he said something to the effect of, Donald Trump has done nothing to make any community safer in this country.